Well, our lead story tonight, a day after a defiant Boris Johnson said in Parliament that he would not quit as Prime Minister, today he was left with literally no choice. As 59 of his MPs, more and more, came forward to resign from his government, he came out on the steps of 10 Downing Street and said to his friends in politics that no one is indispensable. Radhika Iyer and Maha are covering that story because, of course, we may just have an Indian origin Prime Minister of Great Britain, Rishi Sunak, among one of the top contenders, and of course also an India connection that he is Infosys' Narayana Murthy's son-in-law. But let's just look at the dramatic developments that have finally brought down UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson just short of 3 years into his term.
And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. The process of choosing that new leader should begin now, and the timetable will be announced next week, and I've today appointed a cabinet to serve, as I will, until a new leader is in place. And my friends, in politics, no one is remotely indispensable.
The only surprise for many today is that Boris Johnson's fall as Prime Minister took as long as it did. It was his cover-up and claimed ignorance of a close political aide's sexual misconduct that finally did him in. 59 MPs quit Johnson's government in less than 48 hours, including the Chancellor or Finance Minister Rishi Sunak, who was among the first to go, saying the public rightly expect government to be conducted properly, competently and seriously. One of the last to tell him to go was Priti Patel, seen as a loyalist and a hardliner. Johnson says he will continue in power till his successor is appointed, for which a timetable will be announced next week. But the public perhaps cannot afford a long drawn-out succession battle. Inflation is at a 40-year high and many people are struggling with the cost of living crisis triggered by spiralling fuel prices.
Fed up with a Prime Minister who's presided over a culture of lies and law-breaking at the heart of government. Fed up with a Prime Minister who is utterly unfit for the great office that he holds.
Johnson's unruly blonde hair and bumbling persona were instantly recognizable even to those with no interest in politics. He was fired from his first journalism job for fabricating a quote in 1988. Despite controversies and scandals over the years, he powered into office in 2019 with a majority and ensured Brexit, Britain's painful exit from the European Union. It is estimated to have cost the GDP 2 to 2.5%.
We're going to get Brexit done.
His handling, or mishandling, of COVID was severely criticised, underplaying the threat. But it was Partygate which started eroding his popular support. The Prime Minister and his aides partied together repeatedly, right through a strict lockdown he imposed on other citizens. He survived the confidence motion just last month, despite 41% of his MPs voting against him, only to be stung by another scandal. Last week it emerged that the Prime Minister had protected his close political aide, Chris Pincher, despite knowing about serious allegations of sexual misconduct. It was one scandal too many for Teflon Boris. But as he stepped down, he reminded Britain of his singular success. He had given the Conservative Party the biggest win in decades.
As I will until a new leader is in place. So I want to say to the millions of people who voted for us in 2019, many of them voting Conservative for the first time, thank you for that incredible mandate. The biggest Conservative majority since 1987, the biggest share of the vote since 1979.
Can the Tories keep the voters he brought into the fold without the man described as a jovial buffoon but driven by ambition? An NDTV Bureau Report.